So it's almost the end of the year, right? And everyone is immersed in Christmas plans and preparations, but there's generally this specter hanging just ahead on the horizon called the new year. And that might generate some anxiety for you, especially if you've struggled to accomplish your goals. Now, I'm a novel writer and I'm actually in the process of beginning another one. And I was thinking recently about how the process of writing a novel could actually be compared to how a lot of us approach new goals or resolutions or business ideas, basically anything new that you want to start in your life. So I had some encouragement to share for you as you are contemplating some of these new things for 24. A lot of people have ideas about new things they want to do, but they haven't thought through what the steps are going to look like and how they're going to incorporate them into their lives. Approaching goals like this is actually similar to looking at a blank computer screen and just expecting to write a novel. If you do that, I promise you will end up hating or at least resenting the writing process, because who wants to struggle for hours to get one paragraph written? That's just going to build up an intolerance in your brain that will cause you to avoid writing. I mean, we've all been there at some point in school, required to write something and frustrated because we just don't have the words. This is essentially what a lot of us do with new habits. We just want habits or goals or businesses or passions to materialize because they're good ideas. Isn't that enough? And then we feel like failures when it doesn't assimilate into our everyday lives, and months go by with no change. And then we start blame shifting. I don't have the money or connections or time to make this happen. It's my job or my kids or my health or my finances that are holding me back. But the reality is that even if those things were not in the way, you wouldn't suddenly become something you're not. You don't just suddenly start to pour value into the world when circumstances change if you haven't seen the value you have to give away now. So instead of staring at a blank screen and demanding something comes out, here's what I do. When I have an idea, I think about it for a while until I start to dream around it. Scenes start to come to life. I hear characters saying things, and when I get excited enough about those scenes, I write them down. I do this until things start to connect in my mind, and when there's enough connections and the scenes are just multiplying and growing and it matters enough to me, then I sit down and take inventory of what I have. I outline, I interview the characters, I list applicable Bible verses. If it's a biblical fiction novel, I play with viewpoints and titles and tenses, etc. Now, this is a process. You know, it's not all the same day that I do this. But by the time I sit down to write, I can't wait. The floodgates are ready to be unleashed, and I'm ready to dive in because this is a world I want to immerse myself in, characters who are real to me, and a message that I want to share with the world. I needed to take the steps to create something worth writing and develop it, and that's a process. It also involves not being afraid of the months where I might not be excited about writing anything. It's not always a writing season for me. What do I do in that time? I hone my skills, I practice what I know how to do, I live fully in what matters and wait for something specific to tug at my heart. It's not going to just come out of you. Do the work that's necessary to create something worth building, worth continuing, worth sticking with. And don't think of yourself as a failure for being in the outlining stage. That's important, and it's absolutely necessary for what you are going to create later. So, as you're considering your New Year's resolutions, ask yourself before the Lord, what stage am I in? What season am I in with this particular thing? What actually needs to happen? And what do I need to monitor and take inventory of? What is my why behind this? Where does my passion connect with this? Why does this matter to me? And don't be afraid to take some time. That's why I'm encouraging you to start now, not in January 1st. Don't be afraid to take some time to think about it and pray about it. Where am I with this passion or this habit or this goal? Why is it necessary? And what do I need to start with? That is how it's going to work for you. And don't think of yourself as a failure for taking that time, because that's how you create a novel.